many who had their jobs, incomes, and savings ravaged by the pandemic are still trying to recover. Retail inflation, which was making their lives more difficult, eased marginally in May after touching an 8-year high of 7.79% in April. But it was still above the RBI's tolerance band of 2 to 6% for a fifth month in a row. Most companies too are feeling the heat of soaring input costs. Hindustan Unilever chairman Nitin Paranjape last week said that India is currently going through probably the most difficult economic situation. He also said that the company would continue to increase prices even as FMCG market growth rates moderate and volume growth rates become negative in the short term. A look at the sales of products across different price ranges throws up a disturbing trend. HUL, Dabur India, Asian Paints and Parle products have all seen consumers buying cheaper and smaller packs. Meanwhile, according to Bloomberg, HUL saw its premium portfolio grow at twice the pace as the rest of its portfolio in 2021-22. Marico Limited's premium personal care range also grew in high double digits in FY22. HUL, Britannia and Parle products get 30%, 55% and 70% of their business respectively from 1, 5 and 10 rupee packs. As a result, FMCG firms have opted for making products smaller while still maintaining the same price, a phenomenon called shrinkflation. A Nielsen IQ report has also found that the FMCG industry saw a decline in volume in the January-March period. In fact, rural India witnessed a 5.3% fall in volume, the highest consumption slowdown in the last 3 quarters. The report said that a decline in consumption was echoed across all zones and the town classes, but was more prominent in rural markets.
There is a trend towards downtrading to smaller packs, holding back some of the non-essential sales purchases and focusing on essential goods. The positive side is that we see this changing quite quickly as well, with the expectation of strong monsoons or on-time monsoons, with the government taking a lot of initiatives around basically reducing the excise duty on fuel, providing subsidy on gas cylinders, and increasing fertilizer subsidy. The expectation is that rural incomes should start to go up, along with the food price. The rural markets getting higher food prices as well because of overall food price inflation. So all of that should basically put rural back on track, and we should start to go back to a V-shaped recovery. But clearly right now there is a K-shaped recovery.
Meanwhile, a national daily reported that 12 million passengers took domestic flights in May, almost 6 times the number for the same month last year that was hit by the second wave of COVID-19. ICRA said that domestic air travel in May was only 7% lower than pre-COVID levels. ICRA also said that international air traffic has surpassed pre-COVID levels by around 24%, with fares seeing a spike. The number of domestic and international flights operated by Indian Airlines is also back to pre-COVID levels. All of this has come against the backdrop of several rounds of airfare hikes due to all-time high jet fuel prices. Let us now gauge the trend in the auto sector. The Federation of Automobile Dealers Associations has said that passenger vehicle retail sales in May 2022 were 11% higher compared to the pre-COVID month of May 2019. But two-wheeler sales in May 2022 were down 13.91% compared to May 2019. However, according to FADA, the two-wheeler segment has seen a slight improvement in overall sales when compared with April this year. According to Maruti Suzuki India Executive Director Shashank Srivastava, sales of SUVs and MPVs are expected to jump 63.93% in FY23 from FY19.
Two-wheeler segment is more price sensitive and consumers has a higher sensitivity to the price of the vehicle as well as its operational cost in terms of the fuel prices. So both went negative, particularly post Russia-Ukraine issue. And commodity prices also impacted the vehicle prices. This segment witnessed much slower recovery compared to the passenger car segment, which reported a very strong recovery despite semiconductor issue, and there has been a huge waiting period. Almost more than 500,000 vehicles are under order books of these car makers. This K-shaped recovery trend would continue for next 1 to 2 quarters.
The real estate segment also showed a divergent trend. According to Anurag Research, there has been a 230% jump in new launch supply in the luxury real estate segment, priced over 1.5 crore rupees across India's top 7 cities in Q1 2022 as against Q1 2020. Out of the overall housing sales in the top 7 cities in Q1 2022, the luxury segment's share was nearly 12% compared to about 7% back in the pre-COVID period of 2019. Anarok Research added that before COVID, the affordable and mid segments were the most in demand categories. However, given that the pandemic affected the affordable buyer class the most, sales in the category went down from their earlier peak. Clearly, the divergent performances across sectors have laid bare the K-shaped recovery in the Indian economy. The pandemic seems to have no effect on the affluent class, which continues to splurge, while those at the bottom of the pyramid don't have much to spend. A good monsoon, enhanced subsidy, and the excise duty cuts on fuel might help. But the war in Ukraine might not end anytime soon. And RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has said in a recent article that the retail inflation rate is likely to remain above the top end of the central bank's mandated target band until December. This begs the question, how quickly will the shape of economic recovery change for the better?
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
सब अच्छी दिख रही हैं यार, कौन सी खरीदूं?
ये तो वही बात हुई, 4000 शेयर्स लिस्टेड है, कौन सा लूं?
वो तो सबसे आसान है।
तुझे 5 पैसा नहीं पता?
अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा पर है 4000 स्टॉक्स की रिसर्च, टेक्निकल टूल्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है, investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.